Welcome back. Professor Mojisola Adeyeye joins us now. She is the Director General for NAFDAC. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Good morning, Alex. It's good to be with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so the challenge is now at the moment, several people just think that there's this free-for-all impression they get as though that's what's happening out there in the market. So I know that, yes, NAFDAC is out there doing what you can, but can you tell us, are you succeeding in ensuring that you read the market of fake products? Because several people tell you in their homes, wherever they go, it's just one fake item or the other, and it's overwhelming to a lot of people.
Thank you so much. It is sad that some people are bent on making quick money at the detriment of our citizens. Does NAFDAC work? Yes, NAFDAC works. That's why we are digging all the dirt out and trying to get rid of them. We do post-marketing surveillance routinely, meaning we go to the market, make sure that the products that are registered are the products that are on the shelf. However, we also depend on intelligence. The raid that we conducted in Aba has been on, the investigation has been on for a while. But when you have a large segment of a market dealing with faking of products, you cannot just walk in and say, I'm seizing this shop. A large portion of the market. Therefore, we have to be very careful so that we do not endanger the lives of our staff or the forces that we even take there. So, my advice to the public is, please shop at designated or identifiable places. If it is too good to be true with price, very likely it is fake. You have to check the package. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have porous borders. What is happening, or what we have been fighting with on and off is a reflection of what is going on in the society. We have very porous borders. Nigeria has gone through hard times over the last 2 years, very hard economic times. So when people are being sold things that are cheap, they don't question it. So it is a combination of many factors. But we do our work very well. If we do not publicize what we have just done, everybody will be getting ready for Christmas and not really caring too much about what they buy or where they buy it from. So the short answer is NAFDAC works very well. However, we need more staff. We need more staff. It was a vigil, what happened last week, on the part of some of our staff and myself. We need more staff. We have only 2,000 staff for a population of 250 million. South Korea has 50 million people, and they have the FDA equivalent or NAFDAC equivalent has 3,000. 1/4 of our size, 1.5 times the number of staff. So that is also part of the problem, because we cannot just say it is because of XYZ. It's accumulation. Thank you very much.
Well, it does appear as though we're not sure if the authorities are actually listening, because, I mean, yesterday I checked and I saw that 7 years ago, this same narrative too, where you said you needed more staff. And here we are still talking about the same thing. So clearly, NAFDAC will be overwhelmed if you don't have a lot of staff. So are you channeling this request to the right quarters?
Yes and yes. The 10th Assembly is very, very serious about this, and the message is being passed on. I was at the budget defense the upper week, And I just told them that, we are burning candles at both ends in NAFDAC. We don't have evening, we don't have night, we don't have weekends, because we have to safeguard the health of our people. So the answer to your question is yes. I believe the 10th Assembly will help us, and the coordinating minister of health is also working very hard to make sure that NAFDAC gets the staff they need. Thank you very much.
I hope they don't let us all die before they answer this, because if it's 7 years and they're still working very hard, that's going to take some doing. But last year, you also said that NAFDAC was going to purchase this equipment that looked like cell phones. You can use it to check fake drugs or the quality and the standards and things like that. So it will help impacting your work. Have you succeeded in getting any of those facilities?
We actually did. We got 40 pieces of it. Very, very costly. It's called TrueScan. It's for detecting substandard falsified medicines. Instead of only what we used to have, meaning just identifying the medicine, this one also can tell you the level of the medicine. We have used it for what I call qualitative, meaning identifying medicines. We have used it to identify substandard falsified medicines. However, the quantitative aspect of it needs a lot of what we call chemometrics. And our staff are undergoing that training right now. It is not something you just read on paper. It's an engineering type of calculation, things like that. So that is, yes, we have those TrueScan, and we are the only regulatory agency in the world that has as many. Why did we buy many? Because we have many problems. We have porous borders that are not manned, that we're supposed to be manning, and all this affect what comes into the market and what doesn't.
Okay, so clearly, this technology which you're talking about is supposed to be deployed at the borders. Is that correct?
It's supposed to be used at the borders for medicines, at the ports, in the market. Our staff are supposed to take them to the market and just use them to scan products randomly. But we need to make sure that, in fact, the 40, this is another issue. The 40 that we bought, we had to, buy only 40. We had 72 in mind, 2 per state, or 1 per state, and then distribute around the borders. But the Naira fluctuation reduced it to 40. That was the money that we could buy, So there are so many other issues that are causing, a lot of or making challenges for us. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's a challenge everywhere, Prof. But watching the video that we played earlier, in terms of the busts that your officials, your very courageous officials have made, and it has 2 effects. On the one hand, you're saying, oh, NAFDAC is working. On the other hand, you're wondering how many more did they not see? How many more are currently in operation that have not been busted? That's one of the questions people will be asking. And then people will be, because in one of the respondents, one of the officials that was spoken to said that these people make it so well. And even those who own the drinks or who own the original products will find it very difficult to differentiate their own products from the fake. So if manufacturers of original products will find their own products difficult to differentiate from fakes, what is the fate of those who intend to purchase this product? So it creates another environment of fear where people might be unwilling to purchase in an economy that is already very weak. Is this a problem that NAFDAC is seeing and thinking that they might need to address if we're going to be addressing an ailing economy?
That's a good analogy, actually. And I want to use US FDA. as an example of one of our best regulatory agencies in the world, they do busting, they do raids. But the society just has to know that it is when raids are done that things are exposed. That doesn't mean all the products in US market are bad. This is not what the raid that we do is not unique to NAFDAC. That is what all regulatory agencies do. However, US FDA has a third more population than us, 315 million. We have 215 or approximately. The staff strength is 18,000 and we have 2,000. Therefore, the more staff you have, the more staff you use in the market for surveillance. I don't give excuse at all. If I've been giving excuses since I came, we will not get to maturity level 3. Only 30% of regulatory agencies in the world have maturity level 3. We will not have pre-qualification of Yaba Central Drug Lab, which we had this September. The minister just announced it, and then I made a press conference last week. Only few countries in Africa have a lab in their country that is central, that is pre-qualified. So the fact that we are doing all this, it is also because we are strengthening our system despite the challenges. NAFDAC is more respected than ever globally. We can stand shoulder to shoulder with very stringent regulatory authorities because they know now we have gotten the language. What is the language? Quality of products for the products that are in the market. Safeguarding the health of the nation. And to do that, you need a lot of resources, money, you need a lot of staff. You need, of course, money for gadgets and whatnot. So things are working. I will just ask the public to please buy from places that you have confidence in, where you can go back and said, I bought this yesterday. Not roving marketeers. Do not purchase from somebody that you can never go back to. And I want to also enjoin our people to call. Our number is 800-162-3322. 1-800-62-3322. You will have somebody on the line that will answer the call and point you to the right direction. That doesn't mean if there's a problem right there, we can solve it for you, but that is intelligentsia as far as I'm concerned. Oh, I'm in this market and I don't think what I'm seeing is right. NAFDAC cannot be all over, especially with the limited number of staff. Whether we even have 18,000 or we have 12,000, we still need the community. It is all of us working together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to transfer this or send this now to my colleagues in Lagos. Ayo Bukola.
Well, thank you, Malpe. Prof, still on the matter of these products, you know, the consumables especially being cloned to perfection, you see a number of very, popular household items, particularly in the most recent burst that NAFDAC has just done. And it throws up, a very serious concern, for Nigerians, the generality of Nigerians. Is the agency considering the deployment of technology, not just for NAFDAC officials now, but for Nigerians to be able to check out these products, particularly their own cloned NAFDAC number, in order to verify what has been purchased? Because, sometimes they even clone the name of the brand of the consumable to perfection.
That is a very, very good question. Technology. If you have a smartphone, you can actually scan the barcode on the product, and it may not give you all that you need, but it will give you an indication of where that product is from. In 2019, NAFDAC started with the Ministry of Health, started the National Traceability Strategy, where we use technology to monitor products that come through our borders and products that are now being manufactured in Nigeria too, because there are some local manufacturers that are already using the barcoding. We use that technology to scan or commission over 2 million secondary packages of vaccines. We use that technology to monitor all the vaccines that came into Nigeria. But you know, when you have a lot of things to do on the ground, it is not overnight that you do it. We are using it now to monitor anti-malarials, anti-tuberculosis, antivirals, scaling it up. We are now using it to monitor narcotics. So we have a huge market and we cannot do everything overnight. That is what the world is watching NAFDAC for. That this agency is making strides. Are we there yet? No. We're not there yet. And actually no agency can be there 100%. But we are not there yet. But we are improving and improving. We are going to maturity level 4. And then to world listed authority. So our goals are huge for the country. That doesn't mean the problems that are there will disappear overnight, because all these things tied to poverty, illiteracy, economy. About 50% of Nigerians are illiterate. So somebody that didn't go to school, how can they even understand us, do what we are saying they should do? Even those of us that went to school, sometimes we don't read labels in the market. I had to start reading labels when I was in the US, because my son was asthmatic, has asthmatic reaction to MSG, monosodium glutamate. And when FDA brought that up, they did not ban it, but they brought it up that some people may be sensitive. So I started reading labels. So there are many problems in our country: poverty, the forex issue or the naira issue, that lack of education, just so many things. But NAFDAC is going places for the sake of our country, so that our beans that have been banned before my time, we are working right now to restore that state, to come back to the status, to lift that ban. We are working with NEPC, we are working with customs to make sure that we don't work in silo. We work in silo in Nigeria, self-aggrandizement. Mine is better than yours. I better pass my neighbor. No, we have to work together for the sake of the country. Thank you.
Prof, one of the last few things that you have just said throws up another big concern: the literacy levels. And that brings me to my next question. The recent report by the UNODC says, about substandard drugs kill about 500,000 people in sub-Saharan Africa annually. And, it also ties to the discovery of, or the raid of fake drugs in the open market, of which NAFDAC has busted a few times. Despite, the competing resources that you have and inadequate personnel, would it be instructive and especially important for NAFDAC to also prioritize the need for education and awareness, for people in local languages, such that the incidence of diseases, kidney diseases that we see in the country can be reduced? And we're seeing them a lot in the hinterland. Prof.
Again, that is a very, very good question, very good observation. We have NAFDAC and Your Health on TVC. We are bringing it to channels actually, because the more the merrier. TVC, NTA. We have NAFDAC and Your Health on FRCN. And we started small with just English. Now we use Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa, to let our people know in their language. We may have to be doing that through the TV media. But all these things cost money. The government pays our salary, and that is one of the best things they could do for an agency like us. But we raise the money that we use for everything. Almost everything. They give us a little bit for capital, but we raise over 95% of what we use. And all these things cost money. Again, that's why NAFDAC, and it's not because I'm DG NAFDAC, it's a strategic agency that the lives of our people depend on. So we cannot be seen as a commodity that can be traded or whatever. No. We are safeguarding and it's my own life too. Because I drink water, I eat food, I take medicine from Nigeria.
Okay. Well,
so in terms of awareness, we will increase our awareness. We have not done everything that we are supposed to do, but we are doing as much as we can right now.
Well, perhaps, yes, perhaps one of the challenges that we have to contend with here now is that of adequate communication. Awareness is one thing, even letting people know that NAFDAC is doing sufficiently, or rather something significant enough for them. It's another consideration altogether. I'm looking through the online sites now, and I'm seeing interventions of NAFDAC in Benue, in Abuja, in Abia, various parts of the country. But then the backlash that has come as a result of the crackdown that is reigning now, I don't know how you are internalizing it, because there's a full coverage. I'm pretty sure that this was one of the trends online, that NAFDAC wasn't doing enough, that a good number of people actually said not very, very pleasant things, essentially saying that as far as they are concerned, NAFDAC isn't doing enough. The backstory is all over the place. There's those who are even saying NAFDAC number should be digitized. Some are saying that NAFDAC should use barcodes and all those things. Essentially saying, how did we even get here in the first place? You cited it the other time that these products shouldn't even have gotten into the country in the first place. And if those things have gotten into the country, and NAFDAC has been going all over the country clamping down on these organizations in various parts of the country, it calls to question the kind of collaborations that should be happening or is not happening between NAFDAC and the Standards Organization of Nigeria, which someone also tweeted about, NAFDAC and the customs, those who should not allow these things to come into the country in the first place. How are you dealing with that? Can you talk to us about the collaboration that is or is not happening? Any pushback that is not allowing NAFDAC to do its job?
Again, this is a very good observation. Is part of the reason why we are where we are. I got to NAFDAC 2017. From 2011 to 2018, NAFDAC was not at the port. 2011 to May 16, 2018, because that is edged in my brain. NAFDAC was removed from the port. It is easier to destroy than to build. What broke my heart when I came, maybe my first year, was if we have to do something at the port, our staff say we stay in their vehicles. And there was an instance when it was raining hard. So they have to get a big umbrella, very big umbrella, and stayed in the car and answered the customers from under the umbrella. And I said, what is this? Are we an illegitimate agency? Why are we being treated like this? And that time there was a lot of bombing, suicide bombers. And they tracked for the tissue that they recovered from the site. They saw tramadol in it. That was why National Security Advisor Agency office fought to get us back to the country. What am I saying? To ask, how did we get here? That was how we got there. Cabals were formed. It is easier to destroy than to build. Those cabals will not go overnight. And we also have to have a very strong judicial system. We have what is called the C-34 bill or act that the Ninth Assembly started, member-friendly amendments. And the 10th Assembly has already asked us to resubmit it so that they can pass it. When somebody brings in tramadol that is going to kill people, and you find the person 250,000 naira or 5 years in jail, who doesn't know?
Well, one more thing, madam. This is actually quite concerning. How about the collaboration with state governors, state governments, and local government administrators? These things go down to the locals. And so one wonders if there is anything that could be done in that regard. Because as you said, with 2,000 staff, NAFDAC may not be able to go everywhere, monitor everyone.
Again, you are reading my mind. This is part of the discussion for the last 2-3 days with my staff. Even before this raid, we have Federal Task Force. Federal Task Force is domiciled in NAFDAC. The chairperson or the Director of Investigation and Enforcement Directorate is the chairperson of the Federal Task Force. But things were not right. We thought that we had to even make our act in silo. There is the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. Pharmacy Council of Nigeria represents or is represented on our board. We are not represented on their board, and we both regulate. They regulate mostly downstream. We regulate both upstream and downstream. It is only last year, when the PCN bill was passed, that NAFDAC became a member of the council. Why am I saying this? The Director of Pharmaceutical Services in all the states are supposed to be part of the state task forces. But when we don't even know who is who, we are not together, but now we are together. And we are planning January of 2024 to have a big meeting, but now we're going to also include Customs and Ministry of Environment, all the stakeholders that could affect or influence, mitigate reduction of fake medicines at the states. So things were not the way they're supposed to be. But now the government, through wisdom and whatnot, has now put NAFDAC on PCN Council. So we can talk together, work together. And that is part of the collaboration. We are working with Customs. National Export Promotion Council came to our lab the upper week, and they were shocked to see the type of equipment we have in Oshodi. We have 7 laboratories. The Oshodi Central Food Lab is well equipped, not fully equipped, but the DG of NEPC was shocked to see. She kept asking, can you do this? Can you do that? I said, of course we can. Of course we can. We don't need to send samples outside the country because we've saved money, or we are saving money to buy more. We have 7 labs and we have to equip them. We are now building laboratories around the country with the new state offices that we are building. All these things are the things we are doing. So,
just a few more questions as we wind down. First, could you tell us, because there are several of these vendors who have left, they don't have any physical stores anymore, so they've gone online, on social media, on Instagram, and they're selling products to people. They can't be traced, and so people don't even recognize if they are real or not. No NAFDAC clearance or registration. What are you doing about that?
Well, that is the challenge of the 21st century, and it is not just NAFDAC, it is all over now. The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria is working in terms of e-commerce, and NAFDAC is working in terms of e-commerce. We have intelligence gathering online. The same thing with Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, that whoever wants to sell anything at least drug, must register with PCN. So this is a challenge, unfortunately, of the 21st century, but we have to catch up. And again, it is flesh and blood that will do all this.
All right, I've got someone who says that they have a challenge with your regulation and registration department. They say it's really slow. Sometimes it can take up to 3 years before they get through. So have you noticed that complaint, and is anything being done about it?
Yes, I've noticed that complaint is part of what I deal with every time. We have 26 directorates, including the 7 rather, zonal directorates or zonal offices headed by directors, plus FCT. In terms of what we do, please repeat that question again. My mind was jumping to something else.
Yeah, it's about your registration and regulatory department. It's really slow to get across. Sometimes it takes 3 years to fix.
Yes. When I got here to NAFDAC, we weren't digitizing. That led to a lot of person-to-person contact and a lot of compromise, corruption. So we started digitizing. And when you do digitization, you have volume 1, volume 2, and also we have, even for those that went to school, some of us are stuck when it comes to use of computer. I'm talking of literates. They also have some mental block because of just computer. Not to talk of people that have not gone to school or that are not well educated. And when you now see that we have MSMEs, we started that in 2017. And we have thousands of them. That is where our challenge has been, because we have to assist them to register. It used to be manual, and then what can you give me, what favor can you do, or whatever. And I wanted to eliminate that. So it's a process. However, the fact is sometimes our registration is slow.
Okay.
And our staff, we need more staff. That is just the bottom line, to do all the...
Okay, just one quick one before you go. People want to know, how do they use those barcodes out there on the facility, on the drugs?
Okay. When you have a big box, that is called the tertiary package. Then you have boxes inside the big box. Those boxes have the smaller or primary packages. Those boxes inside the big box is called the secondary package. People can scan, if they have smartphone, they can scan and it will tell you the batch number, the manufacturing date, who manufactured it, what is in it. We are stepping that up now to include product characteristics as far as the safety of the medicine is concerned, so that the well-informed consumer can use the barcode to actually say, oh, this is this X drug, it has this side effect, so I will need to use it with food or without food. So that we are stepping it up. NAFDAC is the leading agency in Africa in terms of barcoding, and second leading in the world. So when you have all these things happening, it is building a strong system. And that is the phase where that doesn't mean we will not have challenges.
All right.
But we are facing the challenges also. Thank you.
Prof. We do thank you for coming on. We wish you all the best. Professor Mojisola Ade, DG NAFDAC.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. We're back in a moment. We'll talk about Christmas too in just a moment. Stay with us.